What's up, guys? I'm Daemonxel, back again with another Eve Echoes video. That's right, this is a non-news video. It's been basically a week since the faction battleships have been out, those new ones. So, I thought it would be fun, and also the destroyers too, right? Let's not forget the faction destroyers. I figured it'd be fun just to do a side-by-side comparison and see what all the hubbub is about, why everyone is going off on these ships. So, let's talk about it. Alright, so we are talking about the new ships. Let's start off with the Angel Cartel. That is the Macario as well as the Marzio. So right off the bat here, we are looking at the same roll bonus, 50% warp speed on both of these. However, there is a plus 15 seconds on the damage control activation time on the Marzio, as opposed to plus 5 seconds on the Macario. So it looks like that's a win, I think, right? Okay, so let's keep going here. However, the Marzario, this is the good thing now. This is why this ship is so insane right now. It can be fitted with a Sino generator, right? So you can jump your fleets there. And it can recognize covert Sino signals. In other words, this can be brought in and you can Sino in underneath a Sino jammer. At least that's what I've been told. I haven't touched any of these ships. I do not have access to the test server anymore. I'm not a NetEase official content creator. That being said, we're looking at what's in game. So the attack bonuses are basically the same here, right? We have tracking. Let's see. Actually, no, they're not. I'm sorry. We have 7.5% to the tracking speed of large cannons, and 7.5% on the accuracy fall off on the Macario, whereas on the Marzio, and this is with your expert cannon operation, and this was with the battleship command. So you're getting additional bonuses on the Marzio. Just remember that. You're getting per level 7.5% additional large cannon damage and negative 5% on the activation time of your large cannons. Now that's insane. Now, as you go back to again the battleship command, right? They both have the tracking speed and the fall off. However, this also has a negative 10% warp drive signature radius penalty. So in other words, the sig radius on this is tiny, right? Especially if you're all leveled up, it is tiny. I think someone said it's basically the warp signal of an interceptor. Stats-wise, overall defense, you are going to be higher on the Marzio. The jump drive need is the same. Let's see, fuel is the same. Max jump drive is the same. The Marzio is faster. Warp speed is the same. You have just a little bit more power grid on the Marzio than you do on the Macario. Let's see, a little bit more juice on the capacitors. They both have the same fuel capacity. Cargo capacity is a little bit higher on the Marzio. And of course, the initial source radius is smaller on the Marzio, 385 versus the 399. The resistances are the same. It looks like, yeah, 10. No, a little bit better EM on the Marzio, but everything else is the same. So you got 10, 20, 40, 50 on the Macario, whereas the Marzio it's 20, 20, 40, 50. So that takes care of the Marzio. So let's pull up the. Let's go to. Let's see. We'll go around here, right? We did. We did Angel. Let's go Blood Raider. All right. We're gonna add this one in, and we're gonna add this one in, and we're going to take these two away. All right. Alright, so next up, again, is the Blood Raiders. We are looking at the Balgorn versus the Azazel. Alright, so, let's go to roll bonuses first. Obviously, it's the same, not the NOS. Now, this is where you get additional roll bonuses for the ship. You get an additional 75% hit points for your armor plates. That's the bonus. You can also fit rapid-firing modules onto this ship. Now, when we go to the electronic warfare, let's bring these up here. All right, they both get 15% the absorption efficiency on the NOS. They both get 15% on the newts. The stasis web of fire on the Balgorn is 20% optional range. On the Azazel, you only get 12% of the optimal range, but then you also get additional 12% on neutralizers optimal range as well. So you can newt further out than the Balgorn. Then we go to the Battleship Command. We have a little bit more damage on the Azazel. You're going to get 19% laser damage, where on the Balgorn it's only 18%. It's not a big difference. It's 1%. 1% is not going to make or break you. Also, I don't think I mentioned, I didn't forget about. I forgot about the slots as well. You're getting one additional low slot on the Azazel. I believe on all these ships, the Marzio as well. You got an additional low slot. You're both getting the 7.5% additional large laser tracking speed on both of these. When we go to basic information, side-by-side comparison is you have a bit more overall defense on the Azazel. 116,000 versus 152,000. Yeah, both have the jump drive capacitor need equal. Same with the fuel cost. Same with the light years. Let's see. The flight velocity is a little bit higher on the Azazel, 117 versus 110. Warp speed's the same. A little bit bigger, not by much. You're getting 30 additional megawatts on the power grid, so it's not a huge difference on the power grid. Power on the capacitors, though, let's see, 170,000 versus 172,000. You get an additional, about 2,400 on that. Max fuel capacity is the same. Bigger cargo hold on the Azazel by 303. And the source radius is just a little bit more. It's 15 less than the Balgorn. So that's a good here. Now when we go to resistances, let's see, we're 50. We are the same except for the, what is that? The, not kinetic. That is the explosive. Explosive damage is up. So you got 50, 35, 25, 19. On the Azazel, it's 50, 35, 25, 32.5%. So a bit more resistance on that. And as you can see, the price tag is huge. All right, so let's go to the next set right here, and that is the Rattlesnake versus the Cobra. All right, so automatically right now out of the roll bonus, right? You're getting 20% additional drone damage per level. Let's see. You're getting 480% large drone damage on the Rattlesnake, 500% on the Cobra, 200% on the large drone HP, 250% on the Cobra. Also, you can fit a missile launcher bomb on the Cobra. All right, when we go to large drone operation, you're getting a little bit more damage. You're getting 1% more damage. The command range is still the same, plus 10 kilometers. I believe that's per level. On the Battleship Command, we are looking at additional damage on missiles. You're getting 12% on the kinetic damage. For the Rattlesnake, you are getting 15% on the Cobra. You're getting 12% on the thermal on the Rattlesnake. You are getting 15% on the thermal on the Cobra. You're getting plus 4% shield resistance on the Rattlesnake. You get 5% shield resistance on the Cobra, but you're also getting minus 7.5% large missile torpedo explosion radius as well. All right, so let's go to the basic information here. Okay, so the overall defense is higher on the Cobra, obviously. It's about 30,000 more, so that's a lot overall. Let's see, jump drive is the same, fuel cost is the same, max jump range is the same. You are 7 ms faster in the Cobra, 110 versus 103. You are getting 350 megawatts more in the power grid, 8,058 versus 8,400. Capacitor usage, 110,000 versus 107,000. Max fuel is the same. Let's see, cargo hold capacity is higher, again, 1,500 versus 1,330. And your sig radius is smaller, 521 versus 505. All right, so what do we got here? Okay, so you are still getting 0 EM on both. You're getting higher thermal on the Cobra, 36% versus 28%. Same on the kinetic, and same on the explosive. All right, let's go to my favorite here, Serpentis. Vindicator versus the Annihilator. Okay, roll bonus. All right, we are getting 25% stasis web on the Vindicator. Everyone loves that. On the roll bonus, you are getting 40% additional stasis webifying resistance on the Annihilator. And it can fit repair modules as well. Let's see what else we got here. Again, you're still getting, let's see. Oh, you're still getting the same slot. So it looks like it was only, let's go back to the Cobra real quick. Yet fitting-wise, you are getting one more high slot on the Cobra than the Rattlesnake. Other than that, everything is the same. On the Vindicator, you are getting the same of everything. That's everything the same. Okay, so let's go back up. For the railgun operation, 14% damage on the Vindicator versus 16% damage on the Annihilator. You're both getting the same amount on the tracking speed, 7.5%. On the Battleship Command, you are getting the same on the Webifier speed decrease, plus 10% per level. You are getting plus 10% range on both. You are getting both effective range on both. However, on the Annihilator, you are getting a minus 10% warp drive capacitor penalty. So, yes, it works out. Basic information. All right, overall defense. Much higher on the Annihilator, 116,000 versus 149,000. It's the same. You're going to go faster in the Annihilator, almost by 10. So 128 by 137. That's the same. The output on the power grid is higher, 112,000 versus 117,000. Same thing on the capacitors, 119 versus 122,000. Max fuel is the same. Let's see, cargo capacity is 270 more. Let's see, source radius is another 15 below, so your source radius is a little less chunky. On the resistances, we're both getting 50% on the EM, 35% on the thermal. You are getting higher kinetic on the Annihilator, 36.25%. Vindicator, 43.75% on the Annihilator. And of course, explosive, 10% across the board. So let's go to Mordu's Legion. We have the Barghest versus the Anubis. Slot-wise, you are getting one more low slot over the Barghest. Roll bonus, okay, is the same for the flight time, 50%. Get a little bit higher velocity by 20%, 200 versus 220. You're getting the same warp scrambled strength on the Anubis than you did Barghest, but you can also fit sniper modules on the Anubis, which allow you to shoot farther as well. Okay, on the advanced missile, large missile skill, we are getting 12.5% on the Barghest for the damage. You're getting 15% on the Anubis. Both getting the same explosion velocity, 7.5%. On the Battleship Command, you are both getting the 10% on the effective range of this warp scram. You are getting plus 10% on warp disruptor effectiveness on both. But on the Anubis, you are getting an additional 7.5% target painter effect bonus, as well as an optimal range for your target painter as well, 10% per level. When we go to overall basic information, you are getting a much bigger, beefy defense. Let's see, 109,000 versus 137,000. This is all the same until the flight velocity is 10 faster than the Barghest, 140 versus 150. That's the same. Power grid output is much higher. 93,000 versus 97,000. Capacitor 94,000 versus 96, so it's not a huge jump up there. Cargo hold is slightly bigger. 1330 versus 1450. And your sig radius is actually much smaller. It's more than 15. You got 498 versus 480, so almost 20 M smaller. On resistances, same EM, which is 0. You're getting higher thermal. You're getting 28% on the Bargus, 36% on the Anubis. You're getting 40% both on the kinetic and 50% on the explosive. So let's go over to now the destroyers. Now it's very odd that only one faction decided not to double up on the interdictors, whereas everyone else did. So we're going to start with Gallente. This one's going to be modeled off after the Catalyst 3 interdictor. So you're getting the same effective range, 25%. You can both do the sphere launchers, obviously. Propulsion jamming bonus is the same, right? You're getting minus 10% on the activation time, same on this one. You are getting less damage on the... I have these switched, that's why. You're getting more damage on the Erato. Correct me in the comments, you guys know I screwed this up. 15% versus 12.5% on the damage per level. Same, equal on the accuracy fall-off of the small railguns. Overall defense, obviously it's going to be a little bit higher. You got 7,000 on the Interdictor 3, and you got 10,500 on the Erto. Let's see. You are actually going to go slower in the Erto than you are the Catalyst 3 Interdictor, though. 315 top speed on the Erto, however, 381. That's a huge difference on the Catalyst 3 Interdictor. Well, this is going to be more in-your-face kind of fighting. Let's see here. Power grid output is bigger on the Erto, 67 versus 59. Capacitor, same here. It's almost 130 higher, 832 versus 706. Let's see. Max fuel, same. Cargo capacity is smaller on the Erto. So, your fuel capacity is going to be the same, though, so don't worry about that. But your actual cargo is smaller, 900 on the Erto versus 1350 on the Interdictor 3. Source radius is larger in the Erto, 158 versus 142 on the Catalyst 3 Interdictor. As far as bonuses go, resistances, same on the EM50, we're 35. We are higher in the kinetic on the Erto, 40 versus 36.25, and the same on the explosive. So, my thought on this is, yes, we can look at the battleships, right? The other battleships are definitely a step up. You can definitely see they are better than their counterparts. However, when looking at the Erto and the Catalyst 3 Interdictor, depending on what roles you want to use, one is better than the other. Right? I mean, they're not. I mean, one's not better than the other. It depends on the role. Like if you're in a fleet, if you're soloing, right, and you want more damage, you want to go with the Erto. However, if you're with a group, right, less damage. However, you need to go faster. You need to get out of there. The Catalyst 3 Interdictor may be for you. So it's really a toss-up on which one is better on these two, I think. All right, let's go to Caldari. We have now. This is where it's a little weird. So it's not. This is the only destroyer that's not based on the Interdictor, right? We have the Corax 2 Assault versus the Nightcrow. So on the Corax 2 Assault, on the roll bonus, it's the same flight velocity. It's the same on the damage control activation time. You're going to get higher damage on the Nightcrow, 15% per damage on the torpedoes versus 12.5%. You're going to get the same explosive velocity on both. You're going to get the same web effect on both. The range, 7.5% per level. You're going to get the same inertia modifier on both. On Advanced Destroyer Defense, you're going to get the same. Shield thermal resistance versus, 5 and 3 on both of those. When we talk about the basic, overall defense is much, much higher here. It's a 13,083 versus 9,300. Everything up to max jump range is the same. You're going to go faster in the Nightcrow. It's 277 versus 263. Power grid is smaller on the Nightcrow, so keep that in mind. It is smaller. 83 power grid versus 63, but if you have your skills up, you don't have to worry about that. Capacitor-wise, it is larger on the Nightcrow, right? So 715 versus 654. you have a bigger capacity hold in the Core X2 Assault versus the cargo capacity in the 900 on the Nightcrow. And source radius is smaller on the Nightcrow. So PvP-wise, the Nightcrow is a better ship overall. You don't have to worry about cargo capacity. You're not going to use it, but unless you're really hunting for loot, which if you're doing that, you're not doing it in a destroyer. But yeah, I think for faction warfare, the Nightcrow is actually going to be really, really good. Let's see what the resistances. They are the same on the EM, higher on the thermal for the Nightcrow, 36 versus 28%. Same on the kinetic, same on the explosive. So there you go on those two. Next one up is the Amarr. Whoop, come back here. We have the Courser 3 Interdictor versus the Endurer. Let's see, they're both going to get the same bonus for the effective range of the lasers. Both can fit spheres on them. Both get the 10% on the range. You're getting higher damage on the Endurer, 15% versus 12.5%. Same capacitor need on both. Defense-wise, a little bit higher on the Endurer, 10,000 versus 7,200. Jump drive is the same. That's all the same. Let's go with the speed. Slower Endurer versus the much faster Indictor, 387 versus 322. We saw this again on the Gallente destroyers as well. Let's see. Power grid is the same, but you're going to get higher capacitors on the Endurer, 990 versus 853. Cargo is going to be higher on the Indictor 3, and your source radius is higher on the Endurer, 160 versus 135, so take that in consideration when flying these. Resistances are just about the same. Let's see, we are 50, 35, 25, but the only difference is that explosive, we have 20% on the Indictor 3 and 28% on the Endurer. And the last ship here is the Thrasher 3 Interdictor versus the Salamander. Alright, so we are the same on the effective range on the cannons, right? Oh, also, on all these destroyers, they have the same fitting, right? 4, 4, 4, 3, 3. Okay, so we are the same on the damage. No, we are not the same on the damage. We actually have high... nope, sorry, let me go back. Screw it up. Okay. We have... propulsion jamming is the same. We have range is the same. Let's go up. Advanced bonus. Command. Okay. So this, yes, the same damage on both, 15%, but you're going to get a higher tracking speed on the Salamander versus the Interdictor 3. You're going to get basically the same overall defense as the other destroyers, about 3,000 more. You got 7,000 on the Thrasher 3 versus 10,000 on the Salamander. Speed is much, much higher on the Thrasher 3. 426 versus 350. That's almost 100 faster than the Salamander. Power grid is much bigger on the, let's see, where'd I go? Yep, power grid is much bigger on the Salamander, 60 versus 48. You're going to higher capacitors, 733 versus 664. Cargo-wise, obviously the Thrasher 3 is going to have a bigger cargo hold, and your sig radius is almost 25M higher than the Thrasher 3, so 124 versus 150. As far as resistances go, you're going to higher EM, 20% versus 10%. Everything else is the same, 20, 40, 50. So that's going to cover the ships, all the new ships, the faction battleships, the faction destroyers. I hope this informs you guys on what you guys should choose when flying. Just keep these bonuses in mind. Also, price tag wise, remember, everything is more expensive when they first come out, right? Give it some time. The prices will come down for you to fly these a little bit more cost-effective wise. I don't know what the IP cost is for any of these ships, but obviously that'll probably go down as well. Alright, so yeah, that's going to cover it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys found this informative, all that good stuff, everything like that. And until I talk to you guys again, have a great week, have a great weekend, fly safe. And remember, on this channel, we are always one vision, one purpose, one front. I'll see you guys in the next video.